Call this city council meeting to order. Today's date, 1/6/2026, 1/6/2026. If you would all stand, we have the prayer. Dear gracious Father, as you would touch each and every one of us, we ask that you touch us, lead us, and guide us in the direction you have us go forward. Guide us in the direction to put our city in a position to move forward. Father, we ask that you download an abundance of wisdom, strength, and understanding as we continue to move forward in the lead. And also to the new incoming administration, we do appreciate you giving them the courage, the strength, and the wisdom to do your will. Father, we ask these things in the name of the Father, Son, and the blessed Holy Spirit. In Jesus Christ's name we do pray. Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America. We pledge allegiance to the flag. Madam Clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Solomon,
Present.
Councilmember Swenson,
Here.
Councilmember Suggs, Councilmember Seaforth,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Hardy.
Present.
All present and accounted for. Under citizen comments, citizens must sign in before the start of the meeting. If they wish to address the city council, citizens should state their name and address before beginning their comments. And may speak up to a maximum of 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Citizens seeking assistance, asking questions will be contacted by a member of our governing body or appropriate city staff. Madam Clerk, will there be any?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Robert Jones,
Robert Jones.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to try to make this as quickly as possible. My name is Robert Jones. I reside at 2209 Riley Road. I didn't see it on the actual agenda, but I did see something about a lobbying firm. I'm against it, and I want to tell you why. So I'm just going to go back to number one, tax increases for last year, which was, as far as I'm concerned, unheard of. In addition to that, you took our tax money, you gave the city workers a 5% cost of living adjustment. Council members, mayor, and all you guys, excuse my friend, excuse me. In addition to that, you gave yourself a $300 a month pay increase. I'm not 100% sure what the manager is, but the actual budget that came out was came out by the departments was increased by the manager, and the increase was in excess of, well, I would say right around $2.8 million. I've also dug a little deeper, found some other stuff that I don't know how it happens, but we've got unsigned change orders. I've seen unsigned change orders and all that good stuff. The impact of a lot of this stuff, if you really look at it, and if you look at what happens in the government, number one, the average cost of living adjustment this year was 2.8, not 5. If you have, if you show a deficit reduction, then that explains why you can give a 5%, why you can give yourself a $300 a month raise and all that good stuff. But if you don't show nothing, then you shouldn't be taking our money. In addition to that, lame duck is what I call it when we have new administration coming in, old administration going out. You guys continue to just govern. I don't know. I think probably become a little complacent and all that good stuff. But who am I to say? This lobbying firm, without the input from the incoming folks, went ahead and I looked at a lobbying firm, and I do believe you guys are looking at approving $40,000 of that. I thought that was on the agenda. Maybe I'm missing something, or maybe it's a closed, whatever, closed session. But I say no, and I hope the people of Kinston sticks with me and say no, because one thing about this lobbying firm, there's a conflict of interest clause. Want to say what the heck is that all about, but maybe you guys need to be a little bit more transparent and let us know. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Madam Clerk, will there be any others?
Kendall Moore? No. Okay. Tanya Marshall?
My name is Tanya Marshall. I live at 1109 Cary Road. I have concerns about the lobbying firm as well. I also have concerns about the transition. And my request as a citizen is that there not be any further business transacted until our duly elected mayor has been sworn in. I'm not sure what the plan is. I don't see the swearing in on the agenda. But there's been a lot of things that seem to have been snuck in at the last minute. And if it wasn't, I'm not sure where the transparency was. Just like the lobbying firm, that was not on the agenda. It's not clear what other companies were considered. It's not clear what the urgency was, that it needed to be voted on immediately. I have not seen what other companies were considered, how this company was vetted, or what the need was for. I've heard repeatedly that a lot of the travel of Mayor Hardy was to bring money into the city. So if that's what he was doing and that's effective, then why do we now need to pay $90,000 plus? Because it's $90,000 plus fees, plus reimbursements. We don't really know what the cap is. I don't know that there even is a cap as to what they can charge us. And that doesn't really feel well on top of the recent tax increases. And if this is a good idea, then fine, but it needs to be hashed out. And all of you work for the citizens of Kinston, and if we don't know what's going on, then there's a problem with communication. And I think that those things should be discussed and figured out. And I also recommend, like I said, I'm not sure where we're going from here, but the next thing that happens should be swearing in. The citizens of Kinston have voted for a new mayor, and that is Kareem Moore, and we should stop being held hostage by sore losers, because that's all that is. And that's very disappointing. And I will say to you personally, Dontario, this was a difficult decision to me to support Kareem in the election because you and I were friends. And I've been very disappointed in what has happened. And our election has now been delayed for 2 months over some BS that you all know is not true, you and your campaign manager. And that is not fair. While it may hurt the feelings of those who voted for you, it is not fair to the ones who voted for Kareem. And I say that this needs to end now, and the very next order of business needs to be swearing in our new mayor.
Thank you for your comments, Madam Clerk. If you would there be any others?
Derek Middleton? Okay, so you, okay?
Any others?
No, sir.
All right, on the adoption of the agenda, if a council member wishes to revise the agenda, the motion to add or delete an item will be entertained before the adoption of the agenda. Will there be any others?
Yes, I would like, for the council to consider making some deletions, in consideration of the certification of the councilman-elect and the mayor-elect as well. There are some items on this agenda that are time-sensitive, that I would like to keep, and it has to do with receiving grant funds. And so when we can get that grant money in here, we want that. Also, the ones in consideration of, with the transitioning of our city manager and the interim, we're all aware that there have to be people in place to be able to carry out duties such as co-signers of checks and things of that nature. And so I think it's important to keep those. And those are those time-sensitive items. I would like for the council to consider deleting items number 1 or tabling items number 1 from the action agenda, number 2 under the action agenda, in so much, and in the operating budget amendment, to suspend, the budget amendment funds for the lobbying firm. So if there are different ones that are looped in there, but if it's possible, I don't know if we have to do it line item by line item, but the funds that have to be put in a budget line item for the lobbyists, I would just ask that that be deleted and not considered for vote. And so again, those are items number 1, number 2 under the action items. When we look at the budget, operating budget amendment, considering that, this incoming council, they have more time to be able to look at that agreement. There's 30 days, that we do, offer them, as it pertains to money that is going out. That they have their lenses to be able, to make a decision within those 30 days. So again, that's action items number 1, number 2, and under operating budget amendment, that we delete moving funds to support the lobbyist firm.
Is that in the form of a motion such request?
Yeah, so so does it have to be in the form of a motion or?
Absolutely. Also, as it relates to that, on the language, when you say deletions, that's going to be probably not the wording that we would use, but you can make a motion to entertain not voting for these particular items or having them on the agenda. You may do
But
that.
it says delete an item on the,
Right.
for the adoption of the agenda.
Right. It does say delete, but as far as language goes, you would need to give it in the form of a motion as to vote for or not.
Mr. Attorney, will you intervene, please, sir?
If I'm following Councilmember Solomon, it's 1, 2, and then some portion of number 5. Is that what you're?
Operating budget amendment.
Yes.
Yeah, it would need to be in the form of a motion.
Okay. And in the verbiage deletion, is that proper?
Well, you're deleting 1 and 2, but I guess you're modifying number 5 or proposing to modify number 5.
Yeah.
So I want to delete them from the agenda tonight. I'm asking that they're deleted from the agenda tonight. Yeah, but I guess the thing of it is, and that's what I'm saying. If it says delete, that's why I'm using it, because it's always able to come back to the agenda. It can come back on the agenda, but for tonight, as the verbiage reads here, I'm making a motion to delete items number 1 and number 2 under the action agenda, and to modify the operating budget amendment.
I think the proper terminology would be to table.
Table it.
So I would like to make a motion to table items 1 and 2 under the action agenda, and to modify the operating budget amendment to not include funding for the lobbyist firm.
Right, that is in the form of a motion, before we move any further. So that motion is on the floor, to the council. Is there a second on that, motion? Is there a second on that motion? Is there a second on that motion? That motion dies for lack of a second. That motion dies for lack of a second. Will there be any others? Will there be any others?
So I'll just say this to my colleagues. When the lobbyist information was presented to us, and it was presented to us on the evening, it wasn't on the agenda. And yes, we've heard a colleague reference, the importance of a lobbying firm. But even on that night, when I raised, the concern about an incoming council being responsible for the funds that we're putting out there, that there's no rush or there was no urgency. When I asked what the urgency was, it wasn't given. In addition to the fact that you've got, the community again with the concerns of property taxes. When we look at the fact that all of us left here thinking $5,000, and yes, I did vote yes, and why? Because if we're working with a lobbyist firm, I don't want to be in bad relationship with that which has already been approved. If the majority was saying this is what we want to do, then it was already able to move forward. And so my vote of yes was about, well, I don't want them looking at me like, what she has to say is of no weight, no value. When the revised contract was given back to us, at that following meeting, it was given to us like on a Monday, and on that Tuesday, it wasn't brought up in the meeting. So I'm not thinking that it's getting ready to move forward because there were revisions. Everyone that was here that night felt like it was $5,000. It was news when I found out that it was approved as it pertains to moving forward. I asked a question, my question was this: who determined the amount, who agreed upon the amount, and the commencement date? That commencement date was February, and no one on the council, it was not rehashed before it was said, let's go forward with it. And and the concern that is raised is, and because it's not too late, we've got 30 days. It's a reputable firm, but we're also in a time where the state hasn't even passed a budget yet. And also, in conversations, that we've been talking about with financing, and not knowing what's gonna funnel down, there are people in this community, there might be people in this room, January the 1st, they woke up and didn't have health insurance.
We agree.
And so, like I said, there are things that we know that we can't do, but being fiscally responsible, and the reality of the fact that, under the leadership of our current city manager, Barwick, our fund balance is in a real good place. And we haven't seen that in years. If we move and accept this lobbying firm, because like I said, the citizens didn't have, the way it moved, they didn't have a time for public comment. If we try our best to move as the voices of the people and the pleasure of the people, it is not that delay is not denial. You can approve it, but commencing in February, and we took the cart before the horse because the decision was made, and we didn't even identify the funding source. We didn't even have meaningful conversation of how we want the lobbyists to advocate on our behalf, or identify, the specific projects of the monies that we want you to go over. And so it's not, and the beautiful thing about it, it's not too late. We have 30 days. But the window is closing. And the reality of it is this, and when we look at now 75 $7,500 a month?
75.
That's another person in code enforcement. That's a whole entire other salary of where we could add to the planning department. And so when we think about moving on the needs of the people, if the people are saying, I'm sick of the dilapidation and all the things, you know what I'm saying, can we do something? We know that it's a struggle to keep up with, you know what I'm saying, we were blessed to finally get us someone under code enforcement. They're not easy to come by. There's need. There are major demands on our planning department. And I just ask that we reconsider, and even though the motion was made again, it is not too late for, you know what I'm saying, someone to, you know what I'm saying, renew the motion. But I just think that we really need to consider, you know what I'm saying, like what the people have said about this, about the lobbyist firm. And like I said, when are they gonna approve a budget? And so why are we gonna, and if it commences in February, that means they want that $7,500 check. And when do we know when there's gonna be someone on the halls that they can even go talk to? And so I'm just asking, delay is not denial, to give the incoming council an opportunity to even, you know what I'm saying, they may want to move strategically. They may want to be able to present a plan of action, you know what I'm saying, a priority list to those lobbyists that they're going to be the ones working with. And that's my only, you know, thought about that, is to consider a commencement date that we did not discuss as a council, of just being able to rethink that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, with the incoming council, for us to give them the proper decorum and consideration of allowing it to be their decision.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, sir. Right there.
Councilwoman Solomon, I hear what you are saying, and I know that I've been beaten down to the ground about the funding of the city and where the money is going. When you have new people coming into an organization of any type, there comes a price with it. People have cried out to us about too much money being spent by the council on travel and going different places. And part of that is, and those new that's coming in will realize those connections that you make with these people in these other cities and other surrounding areas play a valuable role in what we do here in the city of Kinston. Now, you talked about how the manager has been able to put us in a good position over the time I've served on this council, and I agree with you 100%. We have not in any way, I feel, and I'm not perfect, but I can tell you that we have tried to do everything that the community have asked. We have maybe 100 people, 200 people. We have had numerous times we have tried to have town halls for people to come and put their input in to how we spend our money. And I believe moving forward with the new administration, I will encourage everybody who support this city to come out to these town halls and let us know what you want to do with your tax dollars. Because everybody feel like the tax dollars are being used in the wrong way. But you look at all the surrounding cities around us and all the ramifications they have to go through, gone broke, cities gone broke and don't have anything. And look at the position that the city of Kinston is right now. That's my point of view. The lobbyist thing, like I said, you admitted it. We didn't get all the information. I thought that when they said it was 5,000, and that's what I voted on, I thought it was 5,000. But as we moved forward and saw all the information that was provided, I think it was 5,000 to 7,500. But I'll be the first to tell you I voted along with you, with not all completely understanding the purpose of the lobbyists, other than
Mayor Pro Tem
the
Harden,
mayor was
I
spending
hate to
too much
interrupt
money
you,
on it.
and I hate to have to correct both of you, but we got an email on November 26th with an original, with the lobbying contract saying $8,500 a month. The Mayor Hardy sent us an email saying he negotiated it down to $7,500 a month. We had that full contract in our email a week before the meeting. So just because you guys don't read your emails does not mean we got to keep holding up stuff. Like, this is ridiculous. So either let's vote to adopt the agenda and move on with the meeting, or let's vote to table everything and end the meeting. But this is this posturing and grandstanding because you guys won't read your agenda, won't read your email. This is too much. This is like, in addition to the chaos we've seen this election cycle, which is completely despicable, there is no reason in the world that we are just now having the transition of power in the city of Kinston. No reason in the world. This has been a hot mess. But this is a symptom of a longer history of complacency by elected officials at every level in Kinston, Lenore County, a lack of due diligence and people doing their work before meetings and showing up unprepared, and us not asking tough questions and having conversations outside of when it's 5 seconds before we take a vote or 5 minutes before the meeting start, then everybody has 1,000 questions. Like, we get these agendas in advance, let's ask questions, let's have dialogue. That's what we're supposed to do as elected officials. So,
Let me say
Mayor
this.
Hardy, would you
I was-
please
I
entertain
would
a
like-
motion?
No,
so
allow
we
me
can
to
keep
address
going?
that, because that's often been stated about people not reading agendas and about grandstanding. The one thing about the members on this council is that posturing and grandstanding, that's not in our nature. That's not, like, we don't have to move that way.
But
You
we
know what
still
I'm saying?
do it.
Because it's so focused about the work. But the reality of it is that so much happens is because, and let's be real about it, is that when it comes to transparency, it was not just the members of this community that was seeking transparency. It was members on this council that did not have information.
And
to
that's
do it.
the
Let me
point.
just
Ask
finish.
questions.
Let
Like,
me
that's
just
our
fin-
job.
And guess
Like,
what?
do our job.
When questions are asked, you do realize that my questions weren't always answered. That I could submit an email, and like I said, the questions even about this, yes, you are right, information
Stand by
was
just a second.
I'm not.
You'll finish. You'll finish. All right. So the folks that are making comments in the audience, I would caution you not to do so out loudly.
Yes, the mayor did send the information, but it can be information. It moved from information to an action agenda. Like, we appreciate the information, but it then became an action item.
My point is about the 5,000 number y'all keep pointing out when
Well,
I'm looking at the contract and that
5,000,
email, and like, it keeps
7,500,
happening where
9,000.
you guys are saying you didn't know something. I was like, it's
No,
right here in the
mm.
document. Just pull it up. Like,
What-
that's a disservice
what-
to our community when we
no,
act like we
no,
don't
what-
know things that we have access to.
Okay, yeah.
Let me
What-
just
what do
pull
they
this
call that
in.
word,
Let me
judo?
pull this in. I got it. No,
No,
don't
let
worry.
me just finish.
No.
babe.
Let me
Please
finish.
and this happens every
And I
day.
understand where you're going. And we're done with it though. We're done because we're
the
delaying
narrative is not
time,
correct.
and I do
The
appreciate you.
narrative is not correct.
I do, and I understand where you're going. However, the case may be, we are delaying because we are beating the bat or the horse or whatever it is to death. So now, when we move along, I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion.
So moved. Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? That motion dies for lack of a second.
Somebody make a motion, because I'm ready to go home.
So I need for someone to entertain a motion. I need to entertain a motion to move forward on the adoption of the agenda and or direction as it relates to the agenda. Seconded by Councilmember Swenson. That motion was so
To
moved
adopt the agenda.
by Councilmember Swenson and seconded by moved by Councilmember Suggs, seconded by Councilmember Swenson. Under discussion. Under discussion. Other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Seafor. Councilmember Swenson,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomon,
No.
Councilmember Suggs,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hardy.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, under adoption agenda. Under minutes. Minutes for December 2nd, 2025, December 16th, 2025, and December 23rd, 2025 will be considered for approval at the next meeting. Madam Clerk, would you like to entertain?
No, sir.
All right, having said that. Move on to public hearing and action. Consider approval. Let me entertain a motion to approve the minutes for those 3 dates. December
Motion.
2nd. So moved by Councilmember Swenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman C4. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, under public hearing and action, consider approval of rezoning property from I-1 to RA5 residential office, Director Blount. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Blount, you may proceed.
All right, good evening, council. Thank you. First item is the rezoning from Kevin Faison. This request is for a rezoning at 519 Tower Hill Road. Staff received a request submitted from Kevin to rezone this parcel from industrial to residential. On the screen is an area of the existing property. Currently, the property houses a single-family dwelling. The RA5 zoning district is established to allow high density of residential land uses, along with other uses compatible with the residential uses and primarily in older sections of the city. The property is located as stated in the industrial zoning district. Surrounding zoning districts are all RA5 to the north and the west, industrial to the south, and industrial and RA5 to the east. Surrounding developments are all empty lots and single-family dwellings to the north, single-family dwellings to the south and the west, and an empty lot to the east. This is an excerpt from the city's comprehensive future land use plan. The property is located within the mixed-use future land use sectors. The proposed rezoning is in compliance with the city's comprehensive land use, which recommends a mixture of land uses to include residential. This is a current picture of the property. The planning board recommended approval of the request and its consistency with the comprehensive land use plan at their regular scheduled meeting on December 9th, 2025. Included in your package was a list of uses in the RA5 zoning district, as well as a draft zoning ordinance. We do ask that council's motion include whether the request is consistent or inconsistent with the comprehensive plan, and I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Blount. What was the recommendation of the planning board?
It was to approve the request.
And it is in accordance with the comprehensive land use provided by the city.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Anything from the council as it relates to the hearing, before we go to the hearing? All right, hearing none, seeing none, we're now in a public hearing. Will there be any speaking in favor of or in opposition of? Will there be any speaking in favor of or opposition of? Yes, sir, if you would.
Hello, council. How y'all doing this evening?
State your name for me.
Kevin Faison.
Yes.
I'm the one of the property owners. Yes. So like I spoke with Ms. Blount. We purchased the property back late October, early November. We just want to restore it and turn it into a rental property. We work in Kinston. Come here every day, and we got an opportunity to purchase this property, and it's pretty cut and dry. We want to rehab it and make a nicer part of the community. We're looking at investing in more properties in the city of Kinston. We think Kinston has a lot of potential and growth. I currently reside in Greenville, But like I said, I work here as a substance abuse counselor and peer support. So we would like for the council to consider our recommendations. I've served on the Planning and Zoning Committee for the City of Greenville for 6 years, so I'm very familiar with the processes of how this goes. So I would like to say Kinston's process is a lot simpler than Greenville's, and I greatly appreciate that. So if you have any questions about the property or about anything that has to do with it, I'm open to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Faison. Thank you for considering even the opportunity, or giving us an opportunity to bring business to the area. Anything from the council as it relates to Mr. Faison request?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Faison. Will there be any others to speak in favor of or in opposition of? Will there be any others to speak in favor of or in opposition of? Will there be any others to speak in favor of or in opposition of? Hearing none, seeing none, yield back to the council. Anything from the council as it pertains to the rezoning? Hearing none, seeing none, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded.
And that motion includes the consistency statement,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So moved and probably second and under discussion. It is consistent with the comprehensive land use for the city of Kinston. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right. Next, consider approval to amend section 18.4.11 Historic Overlay District Regulations of the City of Kinston Unified Ordinance, Development Ordinance. Director Blount.
Okay, staff is currently updating the rules of procedure for the Historic Preservation Commission, and in doing so, staff realized that section 18.4.1.1 concerning the submission of certificate of appropriateness does not give staff enough time to review the application and fulfill the 160D general statutes about notice. So we are here tonight to ask for a text amendment to the UDO, the Unified Development Ordinance, to allow for more time. The screen shows the current language, which says that the certificate of appropriateness shall be filed with the UDO administrator 10 working days prior to the next regularly scheduled meeting. Certificate of appropriateness are, as you know, requests to modify or rehab the exterior of historic properties in historic districts. This request is an evidentiary hearing, which means evidence is presented during the hearing. But North Carolina general statutes require that notice of evidentiary hearings must be deposited in the mail at least 10 days prior to the date of the hearing. If we allow applications to be received 10 days prior to the next regular scheduled meeting, we will not have time to meet the mailing requirements and would have to push the request back a whole month. In addition, amendments to the UDO requires a public hearing. So tonight we ask that a public hearing be open and then closed after any comments, and then a motion from the council to approve or deny the proposed text amendment. And the proposed text amendment would just say that the certificates of appropriateness shall be filed with the UDO administrator 20 days prior to the next regularly scheduled meeting instead of 10.
Thank you, Director Blount. Having said that, anything from the council as it pertains to the change of the text amendment from 10 days to 20? Hearing none, seeing none, we're now in the public hearing. Will there be any to speak in favor of or in opposition of? Will there be any to speak in favor of or in opposition of? Will there be any to speak in favor of or in opposition of? Hearing none, seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Yield it back to the council. Anything from the council as it pertains to the text amendment change? Hearing none. Seeing none, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
So moved by Mayor Pro Tem Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman C4. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, item number 2, demolition update, Director Blount.
Okay, so this is just an update for the council. Just to give a background information, the planning department has been working diligently on the demolition of condemned properties. When I first arrived at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, we had a condemnation list with 170 properties on there. 49 of those properties had been demolished, and 23 of those were done actually by property owners. So we have been working on that list for several years. In July of 2025, council approved the demolition of 6 properties. 3 were awarded to one contractor and 3 to another. One of the contractors did not accept the award, and so we had to re-advertise. We didn't receive 3 bids, and it is required that we receive 3 bids when we send out bids for advertisement in a timely manner, so we had to re-advertise. So on December 2nd of 2025 at 9 a.m., we conducted a bid opening with 3 contractors present. The demolition of 910, 912 Tower Hill, 1015 Hicks, and 1510 Parker were on the 3 lists, or the 3 properties that we wanted to demo. So this is a picture of 1910 or 1910/912 Tower Hill Road. The demolition of this particular property will be awarded to Carolina Earth Movers for a price of $23,200. The demolition of 1015 Hicks Street and 1510 Parker Street will be awarded to TNC Construction for a total price of $18,000. Once the demolition of these homes is complete, staff proposes to place a lien against the property. Staff is still working with the city attorney's office for the remaining 118 properties on the condemnation list. So we're working at it bit by bit. And that is just an update for right now. So these are not the first properties that we have demoed. The first 3 that were awarded back in July have been demoed already. And so we're ready to go ahead and award these 3 so we can get these taken care of.
Thank you, Ms. Blount. I do appreciate you and the planning department for all you've done thus far. You do appreciate your efforts and what you've done with the amount of folks you did have and then currently now up to speed. I do appreciate those efforts. And I think everyone here today does as well. So having said that, we'll move on to item number 3. Consider acceptance of NCDOT Multimodal Network Plan Grant in the amount of $65,000 and authorize the finance director to prepare a budget amendment for a future meeting. Would you like to entertain anything further?
Yes.
Yes.
About this multimodal?
Yes.
Yes, please. Thank you, Mayor. And this is my last presentation.
Yes.
The City of Kinston has been awarded a North Carolina Department of Transportation Multimodal Network Grant to develop comprehensive bicycle and pedestrian plans. The grant covers 80% of the project costs, with the city being responsible for the remaining 20%. We received official notice in July that we were the recipients. However, this grant is federally funded, and so the funds were not released until December 12th. This grant will allow the planning department to identify areas with the greatest need for sidewalks, bike lanes, and safe crossings while improving connections between neighborhoods, schools, parks, businesses, and downtown. An updated plan will provide a clear framework for future projects and strengthen the city's ability to compete for additional funding for infrastructure improvements. With support from North Carolina DOT, the city will engage professional planning services, collect community input, and develop an actionable plan to guide investments in sidewalks, trails, crosswalks, and other multimodal connections. The plan will also align with the initiatives from the city's Safer Streets Project and Lenoir County's Riverwalk Project. The total grant is $65,000, which includes a $13,000 local match provided by the city. The project is almost ready to kick off, and our decision is due by this Monday, January 12th. This is the action that is needed for Kinston to move forward on this grant, to be able to receive this grant. The action requested is formally accept the grant and instruct the finance director to prepare a budget amendment for a future council meeting.
Thank you, Director Blount. Having said that, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
So moved by Councilmember Swenson. Is there a
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hardy. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carried. All right. Thank you, Director Blount. Item number 4, consider approval to establish Historic Preservation Fund Grant C2127. Donna Goodson.
Thank you, Mayor. In your packet is an ordinance to establish a special revenue project fund for the Historic Preservation Fund Kinston Design Standards Update Project. The award was given to the City of Kinston on November the 12th. This project will consist of a total amount of the grant of $32,000, with $22,000 coming from the federal Historic Preservation Fund and required 10,000 match from the city of Kinston. So I'm requesting that you, adopt the ordinance to establish this project.
Thank you, Ms. Goodson. Having said that, anything from the council? Hearing none, seeing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
So moved by Councilwoman Solomon. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Swenson. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 5, consider adoption of the ordinance of the fiscal year 25-26 operating budget amendment. Donna Goodson.
Thank you, Mayor. At the November 3rd, 2025 City Council member meeting, this is an amendment for the operating budget amendment. It consists of 3 different aspects. The first is rolling stock installment purchase contract. At the November 3rd meeting, the City Council adopted a resolution to execute an installment purchase contract in the amount of $1,850,000 with First Citizens Bank and Trust. The annual budget ordinance for the fiscal year 25-26 had already included proceeds from borrowing in the general fund in the amount of $1.494 million and in the water fund in the amount of $955,401 for a total of $1,805,000 to purchase capital outlay vehicles. The additional funds was the projected of $30,000 was the projected amount related to cost of issuance of the debt for consulting and attorney services. The entire $1.850 million has been received, and the actual cost of the issuance of debt have been calculated for payment. I'm requesting an increase in the appropriations for the general fund and the water fund to the various organizations that got the money for the rolling stock to be added as a budget amendment, and the additional revenue will be debt proceeds. Also in the amendment is for the remaining for the lobbyist expenses for the lobby contract that was approved, and this for the amount for fiscal year 25 is for $40,000, which is prorating the $7,500 per month, plus the annual lobbyist registration fee and reimbursable expenses related to the representation. The third item is for transfer of funds of $10,000 to the Special Revenue Fund for the Historic Preservation Fund Kinston Design Standards Update Project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Goodson. Anything from the council in relation to Ms. Goodson's presentation? All right, hearing none, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion that the budget amendment items be voted on individually.
That motion's on the floor. Is there a second to that motion? Is there a second to that motion? Is there a second to that motion? The motion dies for lack of a second. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda and or a motion period. I'd like to entertain a motion from the council as it relates to this budget amendment change. Is there a motion? No, sir. Both. But we'll address your issues though afterwards. But thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion as it relates to adoption of the budget and or a motion period.
I move to adopt the 2025-2026 operating budget amendment presented by the Finance Department.
Thank you, Councilmember Suggs. That motion is on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Seaforth. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Solomon,
No.
Councilmember Swenson,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaforth,
Yes.
Councilmember Suggs, Mayor Pro Tem Hardy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 6, consider adoption of a resolution appointing Assistant Finance Director for signing pre-audit, certificate and checks, Director Goodson.
Thank you, Mayor. In your packet is a resolution appointing the Assistant Finance Director for signing pre-audit certificates and checks. This is just to have some, we're cleaning up some of our ordinances, and we are also getting ready to do additional new signature cards for the bank, and we're just putting this in motion to make this so that we have it on record that the Assistant Finance Director has the ability to pre-audit purchases and to also sign checks in the absence of the Finance Director.
Thank you, Director Goodson. As I explained, I read it in full detail. I understand you need some assistance. All right, so having said that, anything from the council as it relates to that? All right, hearing none, seeing none, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
So moved by Mayor Pro Tem Hardy.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman C4. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. And I will caution you, whoever that is, that continue to speak out. Item number 7, consider adoption of resolution appointing public services director for countersigning checks. Donna Goodson.
Thank you, Mayor. In your packet is a resolution to appoint the Public Services Director for the purpose of signing checks. Currently, the city manager is the official with the duty to countersign checks and drafts on behalf of the city. Checks dispersed for amounts less than $50,000 are signed by the city manager via the use of a facsimile signature. Checks dispersed for amounts in excess of $50,000 require an actual signature of the city manager. There are occurrences in which an actual signature may be required to countersign checks, and the city manager may not be available. Thus, I'm recommending that the city council officially adopt a resolution appointing the Public Services Director for countersigning checks in the absence of the city manager when it is necessary.
Thank you, Ms. Goodson. Anything from the council as it pertains to that request? Hearing none, seeing none, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
So moved by Councilmember Swenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a second?
Which,
I'm just trying to get
okay.
seconded by Councilwoman Solomon. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 8, consider approval of the COPS grant, fiscal year 25, community policing development, supporting agencies seeking accreditation grant in the amount of $51,270. Chief Goyette.
Good evening. I come before you to present 2 grant acceptances. Both are from the Department of Justice through the COPS program. The first one is the FY25 Community Policing Development Grant to support agencies seeking accreditation. It's going to be in the amount of $51,270. Does not require a match of any kind. It's a 2-year grant. We've applied for this last 2 years, didn't get it. Lucky 3, here we go, so we got it. These funds are going to help us upgrade our storage facility with our evidence to get us up to date to where we need to get accredited. We're in the process right now with 2 different accreditation agencies, CALEA as well as the North Carolina Law Enforcement Accreditation Agency. We'll go before, I think, CALEA in 4 months, so I'm hoping by the end of the year we'll be accredited by both of those. But the funds in these are going to help us tremendously do some improvements to our evidence storage facility as well as provide mandatory trainings that we have to take. Otherwise, we'd have to come out of our budget funds, so we're just trying to save some money that way. And again, it's a 2-year grant. So at this time, I'd really just like to just request the city council accept it.
Thank you, Chief Goyette. Do appreciate that. And thank you for actually applying again.
I'd be happy to answer any questions too if you have any questions. Sorry.
Absolutely. Thank you for applying again, Chief. We do appreciate those partners over there on the federal side, DOJ, and throughout our state as we continue to apply for those grants with without any matching dollars, however, which is even better. So thank you much. Anything from the council as it relates to this? All right, hearing none, seeing none, entertain a motion to approve. So moved by Councilmember Swenson. Second. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman C4. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 9, approval of COPS grants fiscal year 25 Law Enforcement Mental Health and Wellness Act, LEMHWA implementation project in the amount of $136,020. Chief Goyette.
Again, this is another grant from the federal government, from the Department of Justice that we applied for, and we received notification back in October in the amount of $136,200 in grant funds. Does not require a match. It's a 2-year grant. It's going to help us establish a few things at our organization, to include peer groups. They're going to be specially trained in crisis response and emotional first aid, as well as incorporate suicide awareness training. We're going to partner with licensed mental health professionals to deliver confidential counseling, trauma-informed care, and intervention services, as well as launch ongoing wellness education programs throughout the organization. The small caveat is, part of the grant is we'll hire a part-time employee for 2 years, and that person's going to help us with establishing the wellness program for the organization. Toward the end of the grant phase, when we'll decide whether we need to keep that position or not. More than likely, I think we can utilize somebody in-house, but we just need some help getting it established, getting it started. We reached out to other departments across the state to include High Point Police Department, kind of mirroring what they have going on. This is a grant that we've applied for in the past and we're unable to get it. This year, we were able to get it. So I'm just asking that City Council allow us to accept the funds for this grant. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for pursuing this particular grant in particular as a jump off for wellness throughout the agency. So anything from the council as it relates to this? All right, hearing none, seeing none, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
So moved by Member Tim Hardy. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Swenson. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 10, consider approval of award of a bid for structures and equipment for POD, one substation to Peak Substation Services in the amount of $646,900. Director Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. The Kinston POD 1 substation is actually Kinston's first connection to Duke Energy to provide power to our electric system when we stopped making our own power back in the 1970s. It's been in service ever since then. It's had to run 24/7 because we had no other source until 2020 when we built the second point of delivery. We originally bid this project to replace the structures at this station in December. On December 2nd, first bids were due. We did not get enough bids to open, so we had to re-advertise the bids. The rebid deadline was December 17th. At that time, we did receive 2 bids for the project, one from Peak Substation Services in the amount of $646,900, and one from MD Henry in the amount of $673,431.95. Booth and Associates are the engineers for this project. They reviewed the bids. They have recommended award to the low bidder, Peak Substation Services, in the amount of the bid. For this project, we have a project budget that has already been established for $690,000. So award of the bid would be within the amount of funds that are budgeted for the project. So I recommend City Council consider award of the bid for the POD 1 substation project to Peak Substation Services for $646,900.
Thank you, Director Miller. Anything from the council as it relates to this?
Steve, no contingency fee for this?
No, we're not requesting any contingency. The order will take place right away, although some of the components may take as much as a year to get. Some of these things are very hard and they're made to order. So as soon as the orders are put in, they should be locked in.
Thank you, Director Miller, and I see that it's actually in, within the budget line. All right. Anything from the council as relates to this, any further? Entertain a motion to approve. So moved by Councilmember Swenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hardy. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right. Next, under appointments, consider NCEMPA appointments. Madam Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As the council is aware, the city of Kinston is a member of the North Carolina Eastern Municipal Power Agency. This is actually the agency from which we receive our power. Electricity is a resource to that agency. Currently, I serve on the NCEMPA Board of Commissioners and as an alternate NCEMPA Rate Committee member. I've held these positions in different levels since my time at Public Services, and because of my history, I just kept it when I moved into the city manager slot. Preparing for my upcoming retirement, the city does need to appoint my replacement. Steve Miller, the Public Services Director, has served in similar capacities on both committees, and recently Henry McLean was promoted to Assistant Director of Public Services. To provide representation should Mr. Miller be unable to attend those meetings and to consider the necessary succession planning for public services, it is my recommendation that the city consider the following appointments to fill my current positions. Appoint Steve Miller, Public Services Director, to fill my position as the North Carolina Eastern Municipal Power Agency Commissioner, and appoint Henry McLean, which is the Assistant Public Services Director, to serve as an NCEMPA alternate commission and alternate rate committee member commissioner. To ask the council to make these appointments as requested.
So heard. Thank you, Madam Manager. Having said that, anything from the council? Hearing none, seeing none, entertain a motion.
Motion.
So moved by Mayor Pro Tem Hardy. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Seaforth. Under discussion. Under discussion. Under discussion. Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right. In this portion of the agenda, I want to do a 5-minute recess. 5-minute recess in accordance with the city clerk. All right, this is going to be 5 minutes, and when we come back, we'll roll right into the actual process on the ceremony. All right, this meeting is in recess for 5 minutes. Recess, recess, recess for 5 minutes. Call this meeting back to order. Call this meeting back to order. Today's 8/16/2026, time 6:55. We're reconvening, and we're going to go straight to, first let me have any council members that wishing to make any statements whatsoever before we move along.
Mayor Hardy, if I may add, this is also our city manager's last
Absolutely.
council meeting before her retirement date. If Ms. Barwick wants to say anything before.
We'll yield to you, Madam Manager Ball, if you would like.
Thank you, Councilmember Suggs. I really don't have anything prepared. I do want to thank the city and the city councils through the years, including this one that hired me as city manager, for the opportunities I've had. During my 32 years with the city, I've held many different positions. I've worked in different departments, learned a lot, met a lot of great people. Can't talk about them too much, but we have some great department heads. They are very professional, very educated in their specific fields, do a great job, and they do it not for, it's a job to them, they do it because they love Kinston, just like many of those of us up here in this DS. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to retirement, looking forward to traveling a little bit and doing some other things, but and thank you again.
All right, thank you, Manager Bart. All right, I'll yield to the council members.
Well, I'll go. I know I shared what I thought were my final remarks a few meetings ago, but since tonight is truly my last council meeting, I just wanted to briefly speak again and mostly to say thank you. Thank you to Kinston for electing me as your city council member 4 years ago. This has truly been one of the greatest honors of my life. So I'm deeply grateful to our city staff who work day in and day out to keep this city going. To our residents who show up in good faith to hold us accountable, to push us forward, to volunteer and serve on our boards and committees and help out the city of Kinston. And to the colleagues on the council who I've been able to serve alongside with and understand that service is about stewardship, and that's what we do as council members, is steward the city and its resources. It's about stewardship and not ego. They say that the hardest place to grow up is the place where you grew up. And as I said, serving this city has truly been my greatest honor of my life so far. Serving alongside this council has sometimes been my greatest headache. I've known, and though more recently sometimes pain me to say, but I've known and loved each and every person that I have the honor of serving with on this dais for pretty much my entire life. Miss Seaforth was my mom's second grade teacher, I think, and then when my mom was teaching second grade, their classrooms were right beside each other. So I spent almost every afternoon bouncing between my mama's classroom and Miss Seaforth's classroom. Growing up, I called Mayor Pro Tem Hardy my Uncle Tony, and I spent summers visiting his house in Virginia when he was stationed there in the military to go to King's Dominion. Councilman Swenson is another distant relative and close friends with one of my aunts, and I think something about him being Kinston's youngest elected official at one point, a long, long time ago, way back in the day, you know, I think it always drew a certain connection between us. And Councilwoman Solomon, for my entire life, up until I got on this dais, was my Aunt Nikki. I'm talking about sit on her couch and look at baby pictures of me and being my confidant when I needed to vent about something or somebody, or being a mediator when I had a conflict with something, flying across the country together, taking trips, like truly my aunt. And the mayor is also a distant cousin of mine, so he watched me grow up. And so, you know, what I realized is, though, is, again, sometimes it's hard to grow up in the place where you grew up. And sometimes when I've, you know, in my work on the council, tried to push or steer us a certain way or move things along, or simply just, you know, do better, you know, to push us to be the great city that I know we all know that we're capable of being, I think sometimes I'm still viewed as that toddler who people have very early memories of, or the kid they saw around places with Crystal and Rico, you know, and sometimes it ends up with people that I serve with or in other leadership in the community getting offended rather than encouraged or convicted because they see it as a kid trying to push them along. I have noticed a shift in the last few months. Things have gotten better. One of my colleagues even apologized, and, you know, it was like, you know, Chris, you tried to tell us you were right about some things. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. And I never want to be an I told you so type of person. That doesn't gratify me in any way. But it is validating to know that I did do something right. And I hope that it means something that I've said or done over the last 4 years, that something still sticks with this city and its leadership. I want to just close by reflecting on a Bible passage that has been coming to me a lot lately. And I've been reflecting on it, and it feels especially relevant right now, both locally and nationally. And that's in the book of Jeremiah when people talk about Babylon. And when we talk about that story, we talk a lot about the promise. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper and have a future. But we often don't talk about the instruction that God gave us before the promise. And in those verses leading up to Jeremiah 29:11, God told the people of Babylon who were feeling stuck and hopeless and like they were in exile and they were feeling uncertain about the way things were going, they were just waiting on their deliverance. He told them to build houses, plant gardens, raise families, and pray for the city that you're in, even while you're waiting. And I've been reflecting on that message as I look at the politics here locally, what's happening across the country and our, you know, things in DC. And when we feel stuck, when we look at the chaos of the world, we wonder sometimes, is progress even possible? The instruction that God gave them in Babylon was not to give up. It wasn't to tear down things. It wasn't to destroy or be mean to each other. It was to build and to plant anyway. And that's how communities move forward. And so as we try to move Kinston forward, as people feel one way or the other about the state of our community, the state of our country, I just want to encourage us to keep building, keep planning, keep raising, and keep praying for the city that we're in. As we, move the city forward, I'm excited to continue serving without a title. A lot of people confuse leadership with control, and some people would rather see a ship sink if they can't be the captain of it. But the truth is, you don't always have to be the captain to lead. And sometimes it's really important for leaders to know when to step back and get out of the way. And that's what I'm choosing to do in this season of my life right now. And so I'm excited to step back. I'm excited about new leadership in the city of Kinston because I do believe that Kinston's best days are ahead of us if we don't give up on it. So please, let's not give up on Kinston. Thank you all.
Mayor Hardy,
Yes.
may we say thank you and also say congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you, thank
To
you.
more good years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And since Ms. Deborah brought that up, I do just want to say thank you to my family and friends, some of them here with me, for sticking with me, sticking by me these last 4 years. They told me not to come back to Kinston after college. I didn't listen to them. I came back and served my community, and I'm grateful that they've stuck beside me. So thank you to my parents, friends, family, and my beautiful fiance in the audience.
Okay, okay. All right. All right, would there be any others that would like to make any comments?
Mayor, I just want to say thank you to all the residents here in the city of Kinston that have elected me for the last 20 years to sit here in this seat. It's truly been an honor, a pleasure, a privilege. It takes tough skin to sit here because you have to make decisions that sometimes you don't want to make, but it's in the best interest of the city. But I am grateful for my time here. Thank you to all the department heads who have I've bent your ears quite a few times for different problems or issues. I say thank you, and thank you for continuing to serve the city of Kinston. I thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Swenson. All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I could, I would like to thank Mr. Swenson and Mr. Suggs for their service to the city. Like they said, it's been a journey. Some ups and downs, good times and bad, but through it all, we made it through. So I just want to thank both of you for your service.
Absolutely. All right. Having said that, will there be any others? All right. So to the Kinstonians here in the room today and all across Kinston, Lenoir County, I do appreciate the efforts and opportunity to be able to serve alongside some of the most prestigious individuals that are sitting on the dais with us today. I do appreciate your efforts and everything that you've done to help guide us along the way and put us in the best position possible when the time comes as it relates to natural disasters, things of that nature that took place all across our county. Do appreciate the efforts of the community stepping in and stepping up to do their part as it relates to putting us in the best position possible. Because we understand that when we go through natural disasters and things of that nature, of that caliber, we are willing to come together. So we must take that same model and come together even more so during the other opportunities that we have that may permit themselves throughout our daily lives here in Kinston, Lenoir County. And having said that, serving as a mayor for the past 8 years has been one of the greatest honors of my life to be entrusted by the community that raised me, my hometown. To lead, serve, and advocate on your behalf is something I will forever hold close to my heart. Together, we have accomplished so much. Over these past 2 years, yes, you're right, it is over the last 2 years, 2 terms, we worked tirelessly to move Kinston forward, often through challenges, uncertainty, and change, but always with the shared belief in what this city can be and should be. From major infrastructure investments and flood mitigation efforts to economic development expansions, downtown revitalization, public safety enhancements, and youth and community initiatives. We laid a strong foundation for continued progress and prosperity. We secured millions in state and federal funding to address longstanding infrastructure needs, improve roads, utilities, and storm resilience, and protecting our neighborhoods from future flooding. We support job creation and business growth, strengthen the partnerships across the region and the state, and ensure Kinston had a good seat at the tables, locally, statewide, and nationally. We've lifted up our youth, honored our elders, celebrated our history, and worked to ensure opportunity to reach every corner of our community. While there is still a lot of work to do, there's still work ahead. And I do trust and I have faith and confidence in the incoming administration to move the needle forward. The citizens of Kinston, thank you. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your support, your constructive criticism, and your love for this city. Your voices guided me. My leadership and your resilience inspired every decision made service to our community. To our city staff, thank you for your dedication, professionalism, and tireless commitment to public service. Day in and day out, you showed up for Kinston, often behind the scenes, ensuring our city continue to operate and move forward. Your work does not and will not ever go unnoticed. And this city is stronger because of you. To my fellow city council members, past and present, thank you for your partnership and your service. While we may not always have agreed, we shared a common goal. Doing that, we believe, was best for Kinston. I appreciate the collaboration, the debate, and the collective effort to lead this city with integrity and purpose. As I step away from this role, I do so with gratitude, pride, and unwavering belief in Kinston's future. This city's best days are still ahead, and I will always be its advocate, supporter, and proud son. Thank you for allowing me to honor the honor of serving you as the mayor. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve, and I look forward to serving even more so in the future. That's my time. Now you're back to Madam Clerk.
Well, for my thank you to all three of you gentlemen, I have enjoyed working with you. We'll be looking forward to working with you in the community. Because you're not up here does not mean I won't need information. So I do look forward to working with you, and I do wish you good endeavors in everything that you decide to do. Now, for our ceremonial piece here, I would like to start with reading the official municipal election results for the city of Kinston. For mayor, Kareem S. Moore, 1,783 votes. Don Hardy, 1,707 votes. For the city council, our top two, and you were able to vote for two, Sammy C. Aiken, 1,461 votes, and Les Lipford, 1,250 votes. And at this time, I would like to have the honor of swearing in our new regime. here so you can be seen by, come around. Left hand on the Bible. If you will repeat after me.
Stand by 1 second, man. Let me just call a recess, and then he can just step down and flow easily.
Okay.
I mean, you can just do however, in accordance to Mr. Attorney. All right.
Okay.
So what we'll do is, Madam, we'll go to recess. We're actually in recess now, and then now you can proceed, and don't have to stop.
Okay, so everybody was gonna just
Yes,
one by one?
Yes.
Okay.
and you can get up out of your seats actually under the recess, and however the case may be.
You will read that? That's your, or would you like to just repeat after me? Okay. No, they're not going anywhere. First, we have our mayor. If you will repeat after me. I, Kareem S. Moore, do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
as mayor of the city of Kinston.
as mayor of the city of Kinston.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Duly sworn. I'm going to give you these after we leave. Mistaken. Do you have anyone you'd like to hold the Bible?
My people do.
Just me? You just got me?
You got you.
Okay. Please. You got it. Left hand on the Bible. Mm-hmm.
My family is in Brazil right now. They're watching on my Facebook.
We're not asking for you. We're not asking. All right, repeat after me. I
I, Sammy C. Aiken,
do solemnly swear that I will support
do solemnly swear that I will support
and maintain the Constitution and laws
and maintain the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office as city council member
of my office as city councilman
of the city of Kinston.
of the city of Kinston.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And you can take, Mr. Aiken, they're getting your seats ready. They're getting your seats ready. Wherever you'd like, which seat would you like, Mr. Aiken? Okay, all right. Oh, that's where you left from anyway. All right. Mr. Lippert, repeat after me. I, Lester E. Lippert, do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as city council member of the city of Kinston. So help me God. All right. I have, Mayor, Okay, you can take your seat at where Chris was. He's gonna sit. Well, I guess that's really up to the mayor. Does he not? Yeah, I think that's up to the mayor. I would like for you to hold the Bible for your mayor pro tem. Okay? Okay, I can wait. Ms. Solomon, would you come down? You want your Bible? Okay, I'll take this. Left hand on the Bible.
Oh, God.
Face that way. Repeat after me. I, Felicia N. Solomon,
I, Felicia N. Solomon,
do solemnly swear that I will support
do solemnly swear that I will support
and maintain the Constitution and laws
and maintain the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
as Mayor Pro Tem
as Mayor Pro Tem
of the City of Kinston.
of the City of Kinston.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right. Oh, I'm done. How about to leave my apparatus? Leave my apparatus. Where are you? You don't want to move with them? You don't have to, that's the mayor. Okay. Mayor, no, where did they go?
Yeah, but that's what's how. Proper protocol.
But it's the mayor's call. The reason that was environmental. No, it was that.
the,
Okay. 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 So that's my phone. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
Okay, we want to call the meeting to order. First things first here, I want to thank the city of Kinston for electing me. It's been a long time coming. Today is the day that we return the chamber back to the people. Today is the day that you'll have your concerns heard and you have your issues addressed. I challenge each and every one of you who voted for me to challenge this city council to work for the people, to work diligently, to answer the phone calls, answer the calls that we have, and listen to our concerns. I sat here today during a council meeting, and I watched again countless citizens stand up and bring their concerns up towards this council. I got elected so that I could speak for you guys and be the voice for the people. Today is the day we go Kinston forward, and I'd like to thank you guys, and God bless you for electing me. We just got a couple of issues here. We're going to introduce our new interim city manager, and as a lot of you guys kind of know, you know, we've been jumping through hoops to kind of get this thing done today, so some faces are not really familiar, so out of respect and candor, I'll have Pro Tem Felicia Solomon and the city attorney do the introduction for the interim city manager. I just met him outside the door when I was on the way to the bathroom, so we'll address that and then we'll continue. Thank you.
I don't see him. Is he still with us? Oh, yeah, okay, there he is. Well, as you heard earlier, this is Ms. Barwick's last official city council meeting. So the council undertook a search over the last couple of months since her announcement to try to find an interim placeholder. Mean that in no derogatory way, Mr. Harrell, but an interim placeholder while they undertake a larger geographic search for a permanent manager. So Mr. Harrell has had several interim assignments. He has agreed to serve as the interim for the city of Kinston, and I believe his first day is Monday. Yes, sir. Being Monday at 3 o'clock, I look forward to working in the town of Kinston, supporting the council, and also being open to speak with the citizens of Kinston as well. Just to let you know, I'm in Eastern North Carolina, I'm in Goldsboro. So I used to come to Kinston when I was a little kid to the old mall shopping. Right. So,
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. The second thing, the second thing I wanted to just point out, and maybe this is stating the obvious, but this is not the typical organizational process for a local government. I think a hot mess was maybe the most polite way I've heard it described, but usually the organizational meeting is the focus of the evening, and the city staff has an opportunity to plan around that. And then occasionally some business items get added to that agenda, but the focus is the organizational meeting. Tonight there was a regular scheduled meeting, and the organizational part got added. So that is not the typical way it is done, but we got through it. So I just wanted to point that out. If you think this is the norm, It's not, but it's the way it had to be done this year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Just to add, during our search, it was pretty much, a large consensus that Mr. Harrell was our guy. There was a lot of conversation that was like, well, God, they got somebody that go from job to job to job to job. And not understanding that as an interim, you want to put someone in an interim position that is wanted and desired from other municipalities for the transition. And so I'm pleased to say that the council got what we feel is the best, from what the School of Government presented to us, the availability. Like I said, he's retired, but he's been active. And so, one of the things that impressed us most about him is that he's keeping his hands on the pulse. And that he is actually, and you'll help me with this, serves as a senior advisor for county managers and city managers in the state. And so he sits on that state board as a senior advisor to help, with the work. We were extremely impressed with his desire to put his hands to the work, and that he's not a stranger to working alongside those in public services. So Steve, you got your man that's ready to work with you. So again, we look forward. One of the questions that we asked is your feelings about public comment. You know what I'm saying? And he's very big on citizens giving their input. And so, as was said earlier, we asked you to continue to allow your voices to be heard. Civic engagement in this community came to an all-time high, and we're grateful for that. And so continue to use the power of your voices.
Thank you. At that being said, does anybody on the council have anything they want to add? I want to welcome Sammy and Les, as we all get sworn in together today. Pearl, Miss Seaforth, you also my teacher, you know what I'm saying? And Miss Thompson's been trying to keep me on task, ever since I came on board. So, with that being said and done, does anybody else have anything they want to bring before the council before we move to adjourn?
I just want to welcome all the new council members and yourself, Mr. Mayor. Just wish you the very best as we work through these issues in the city of Kinston. Grateful for Les and Sammy. I've been knowing them all my life, pretty much, and fellow military fellows, so they know how to hit the ground running. So.
I'd like to thank the Lord for giving me this opportunity to serve the citizens of Kinston. I served previously for 12 years, and I had a 2-year hiatus, but I never stopped working. People kept calling me to get things done, and just a couple of weeks ago, I can say some different issues that was resolved, especially across from Biscuitville and Burger King. I came to city council and was complaining, not complaining, just concerns about the island that didn't have no poles up. But our city, they worked on it with DOT, and so we heard y'all voice. For me sitting the last 2 years in the audience looking this way, and like Ms. Solomon stated, this year we have a lot of civilian participation, and we hear you. God gave me ears to hear and a heart for compassion, so I'm ready to do the work. So again, thank y'all for coming.
Also, I would like to welcome all of you to the City Council. And we all have some connection in many different walks of life. And I'm here to work with you. I appreciate any concerns you have. And I know you are deeply rooted in in this community. And I know we're going to move forward. So with God's help, we're only going to go one way, and that's up. Thank you.
thankful to be here. I'm excited. See when the mic is on. I'm thankful to be here. I'm excited. Thank God for everything. It's gonna be exciting working with everybody. It's hard running for office, being in the limelight. So I like to thank everybody who's up here. We all got to do this together. Can't be separated. We got to go together, and we get a lot of things done. I promise you. Ever need me? Phone call away. We all here to help people, whether you like it or not. Ugly, bad, good or not, we here to help. Got it? We do it together. We got to work this thing together. And we're here for you. Thanks a lot.
He's back.
Okay. Refreshments at Jay's. Okay. All right, with that being said, we're gonna move to adjourn the meeting. This meeting is now adjourned.